Hi there, my name is Beck and you're the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And so the comic book industry imploded, and it's just slowly starting to reopen, but it didn't last very long. In the in the pandemic, it lasted 4 days before it imploded, and so the chief propagandist, I would say, of the hateful comic industry. I'm trying to think of the right way of saying it. Okay, the comic book industry, the reason it folded so quickly is because, much like other areas of fandom, they decided they really don't like the people who are their audience, their customers. They really just don't like them at all. And really strangely, on social media, the people who make comics would just routinely attack people and call them like national socialists from the 1930s because they like thought border security wasn't a bad thing, and or open border, like crazy stuff. Like honestly, genuinely crazy. That they would put like really mainstream centrist conservative policies, like right at the center of the aisle, like very reasonable ideas in the mouth of the Red Skull. They went absolutely crazy. So the result of that was they pushed away most of their customers. They've lost about 60 to 70% of the sales since they started doing this, and they got driven crazy by Trump. But I think they were starting in 2015, if I'm to be honest. But they all just got driven insane. And so by the time they reached a catastrophe, like as the pandemic was, their margins were so tiny. They were really dependent on like 2 or 3 creators, and everybody else was like living off them. You have like people like, who was it? White Knight guy. I've never read his stuff though. I mean, seen his artwork. Just put out Indigo, but he would do. Like Batman White Knight, he'll do really well. Okay, he's doing really well. And because that sold like 100,000 copies, they could have a bunch of comics that didn't make any money at all, but they made a very important, stunning, and brave commentary on the world. But they weren't very good. They hired people because of their skin color, their ethnicity, their whatever. And they just made very boring, bad comics. That's really the bottom line. They just made bad. So the industry imploded. So. Rich Johnston here runs a website called Bleeding Core, and he is the chief propagandist for that hateful comic book industry. He really is the chief propagandist, and since it's been happening, it's been kind of like the guy from the end of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the chief SS guy who was like, "It is beautiful," as the angel's flying around, and all of a sudden, his face starts to melt. That's what his face has been melting, like since it started, and he keeps using his website to put out more and more embarrassing self-owns, and they're getting boring reporting on them. But God, I got a channel, and this really is very funny. So I think we're going to be reading over one of his particularly stupid articles in a minute. Before I get there, thank you very much to everybody subscribed. If you have subscribed, please can I ask you to make sure you're still subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe today. How often can you say you can go home and say, to your loved ones and say, you know what I did today? What did you do? I subscribe to a Rabbi's Geeky YouTube channel. I bet that's something you can't say that often. And I offer you that opportunity right now. And you know what? Right now we're doing it at a discount. You can have it for free. All you gotta do is click the subscribe button. Thank you very much. I would like to show you my appreciation. Go check the video notes. There is a Doctor Who audio adventure you can download starring Nicholas Briggs as a Doctor. And as a fan production from the mid-80s. Pretty good one. And also, we have prizes we give away each week on the channel. Glittering, fantastic, fantabulous prizes. So this week we are giving away more Doctor Who, Carnival of Monsters. It's a really fun Jon Pertwee story from the 1970s. 1973, I think. 1973. 2-disc special edition, tons of extras, really good. All you need to do to win it, subscribe to the channel, subscribe, and then leave the hashtag miniscope. A lot of people don't understand what I'm saying. So go and look at the video notes. It's got everything written there. We'll do the giveaway on the 17th on the TARDIS zone. And then we'll pull your name out, and then we'll choose what we give away in the upcoming week. Fine. So let's read this article. This article is about. I haven't told you what this article was about. Everything that represented the utter failure of the comic book industry was rolled up into one ball and presented in one comic book right at this exact same moment that the industry imploded. The exact same moment that their shrunken margins caused the industry to like completely implode. They put out a comic book that was like, just designed to piss off their fans. Designed to piss off. It's called the New Warriors comic, and I can't wait for it to come out. It's a superhero group that comprises of a like a fat Dora the Explorer type girl. Now listen, I'm a fat guy. I've been a fat guy all my life, so I'm reasonably sensitive to the people of the larger girth. I understand. Having fingers pointing in and being called fatty can sometimes be hurtful, but I can say of this character, she is a fat pig. What are they thinking? She is a disgusting fat pig. What the hell? That's not a superhero. But you know what a superhero her powers are? She's got a magic bag. She's got a magic bag she can rustle around in and either find some cake or find some insulin, depending on what she might need to do. Other heroes include, what was it? I can't remember. There's somebody who is constantly online. I think watching internet porn because they had some internet gas. I'm not making this up. I'm genuinely not making this up. But the pièce de résistance, the absolute wonderful part is two trans characters, Snowflake and Safe Space. Snowflake is your average jock who wears pink lycra. So yeah, as your average jock will do, that Safe Space will wear pink lycra, while Snowflake has offensive abilities, should do ice darts, and it's a comic that nobody wants, absolutely nobody. The only people who want it are like the people who go, oh, starting their break. The only people who want it are people who go, oh, let me drink your sweet man boy tears. Oh yeah, that's the people they're catering to. And the people they're screwing over, the people who they're screwing over with this are the comic book stores who have to swallow this insanity. They have to. They're the ones who are going to have to pay for the comics that nobody's going to want to buy. It's interesting. Marvel happy to put out the stuff. They're not happy to make it returnable. Yeah, if they made it returnable and they stood by it, I would have so much more respect for them than I do now because they don't. So anyway, let's read this article in which Rich Johnston now shamelessly shills for this concept of New Warriors. The comic book store that ordered 500 copies of Marvel's New Warriors, so they're spending about $1,500 on that. Now, I will tell you the truth. If somebody wants this, I wouldn't mind buying a copy and framing it because it's so incredibly bad. It's literally what people who aren't in the comics thought was a parody. They didn't think it was real. It looks like it does. It seems that's really what it seems to be. But there. So Rich Johnston is going to put out this piece saying how. Let's just read it because he's so stupid. Marvel Comics is still planning publishing New Warriors, a 5-issue miniseries written by the Late Show with Stephen Colbert writer and producer Daniel Kibblesmith. Yeah, okay. Everything you just said there was bad. Yeah, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert writer. Yeah, no, come on. Firstly, that is the worst of the late night shows, and that is a ground zero for Trump derangement syndrome. They are absolutely insane there. So that if you think that's the selling point to a comic book fan, it's not. The team is made up of all new heroes with a diverse range of backgrounds. Yes, because nobody's able to cope with diversity unless we get shown it in shitty comic books that nobody wants. Without these shitty comic books that nobody wants, nobody's going to be able to cope with somebody whose skin color is slightly different to theirs. They're gonna freak out. They're gonna take out 2 pieces of wood, hammer them together, and set them on fire to be a crucifix and put them on the front lawn. That's what's going to happen without the social engineering needed by Daniel Kibblesmith. And that's what they believe. That's really what these insane people believe. Including Safe Space and Snowflake. Fine. For some people, this was the worst thing in the world. No, it was indicative of why your industry imploded in 4 days, and a fact that you are still literally, figuratively, like the guy from Indiana going, "Nah!" and your face is melting. DC Comics, they made a new distributor, which seems to be quite a lot better. Than the one distributor that completely crumbled and hasn't opened yet and still isn't distributing comics. And they just were like, well, how can anybody go with anybody? Not with Diamond, even though they're distributor, even though Diamond don't distribute comics. It's just it's utter insanity, which actually kind of makes it interesting to watch. Worst Thing in the World is a terrible comic, even though no one's read it and hasn't been printed. Okay, Rich, let me ask you a question. Let's say you're walking down the street and you see some dog poo, right? You see some dog poo laying on the street. Why don't you pick it up and eat it? Well, you go, well, it's dog poo. I don't think I'll like it. How do you know if you haven't tried it? Yeah, exactly. You know, I think you have an idea what the dog poo is going to taste like. Not very good. What's the dog poo going to taste like? It's going to be the colony equivalent of New Warriors. That's I think it's pretty clear. And apparently, it's responsible for the entire edifice of the comics industry collapsing. No, it's not responsible for it. It is indicative of it. Do you not understand the difference? No, you don't. You're an idiot. Somehow there wasn't this much hatred over Marvel's clearly virtue signaling to the Elephantine power packademes. Oh my god, what? And reinvented each X-Men as elephants. What? Okay, fine. But then we didn't have Twitter. Yeah, they didn't reinvent the X-Men as I haven't read it, but I'm gonna make a guess. I'm just gonna make a guess off the top of my head. I'm gonna bet they didn't reinvent the X-Men as elephants to highlight the plight of elephants and how they are marginalised in our society. We gotta let elephants marry, whoever they want. That's what they got. We got to let elephants. You got to be able to have sex with an elephant, and an elephant have sex with you. What an elephant and a person does in their own bedroom is their own business. And no, that's not what's going on. It was a fun little joke comic. But you're a disingenuous piece of shit, Mr. Johnston. You are the Goebbels of the hateful comic industry. It has been downvoted 200. The video trailer has been downvoted 226,000 times, as opposed to 4,000 upvotes. That would show not that popular, right? Not that popular. That is, what's 226 divided into 4? Okay, that's how much. Let's see how much popularity. We'll go. Okay, 226,000 divided into 4,000 equals. Okay, it's 56.5 times more hated than liked. Okay, that's really bad. That means if there were 60 people voting, right? 60 people voting, they would lose by a landslide. Whatever. Okay. Though it's been watched by a million viewers. So yeah, it's been watched by a million people because they can't believe how bad it is. Naturally, there have been dozens of YouTube videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate the content. For this, from the usual. Can I be one of the usual suspects? I want to be one of the usual suspects because that means that my channel's going to do a bit bigger. So, Rich, can you make me one of the usual suspects, mate? I want to be a usual suspect. Usual suspects watching the very existence of a comic and blaming all the industry's ills on it. No, again, disingenuous bullcrap. They're not blaming the ills on it. They're saying this is indicative of all the ills that you are currently pretending doesn't exist. One of the things he had about the different distributors was they were going to send out comics on Tuesday. Like, couldn't you comics on Tuesday? Oh, how could it be? Oh, people won't understand. Sometimes something I thought was amusing, considering an early example of the mid-70s low-selling comic that replaced all its members with new characters by the company's international sales department, including controversial heroic lead depictions of both Germans, Japanese, and Russians. That seemed to work out. What the hell are you blabbering about? Why are you you're just disingenuously ignoring the arguments. See, that's the sign of how weak his point of view is. He can't address the arguments. He's just going to go, look over there. That's what they do. These people are such arseholes. I did it on my live stream last night. I went over this podcast by this super shill Hugh Fullerton, and they got this whole thing. They want to try and say that there is no Doctor Who canon. There never has been a Doctor Who canon, because they've introduced this new Doctor Who that's clearly not canon, and they say no, there's no Doctor that's canon, and it's the same disingenuous bullcrap as this. But nevertheless, the mocking continued. Yes, because it's objectively hilarious. The mocking continued, reaching an apogee on the Joe Rogan Experience TV show. No, podcast. TV show. In a section labeled Joe Rogan learns about the most SJW comic ever made. Yes, that's I think that's a pretty accurate headline. Joe Rogan racking up another 750,000 views on YouTube. Yeah, this is not positive advertising. Now, it's not like all the criticism is one-sided. Rogan says he can't believe the comic is not a parody, and there are a number who believe it is. Yeah, because it seems like, look at this. Look, it just looks like a parody. These are folks less likely to make YouTube videos about it all, but they see Marvel Comics PR for New Warriors as looking like they're mocking diverse comics and looking for a super bigoted parody of type. Yeah, I can't. Look, I made things about it because I just thought it was funny. How much longer is this? Oh, we're nearly done. Thank God. With Kimmel's history as a satirical writer producer, no, Kimmel's history as a wealthy cocksucker, which I think is a pretty accurate description. A wealthy cocksucker who bought his way in and has the right politics. That's really what. It's not a satirical writer-producer on the Stephen Colbert as underlining for something. No, we did think it's more that he's writing on that he's writing on Stephen Colbert. Just says, "Oh look, it's a super SJW comic because it's a comedy. Somebody who clearly has no idea about comics, writing comics, and filling it with an agenda that most comic book readers are not on board with." That's why. Not because he happens to be a writer on a shitty late night show that is, quite frankly, terrible. Maybe they're right. We don't know. We haven't actually seen the comic book. Who could know what the comic book is like? It could be good. Yeah, who could know what that dog shit tastes like? It might be good. Who knows until you tried it? You crap. Marvel has been cancelling the printing for a number of comic books caught up in the shutdown. I so want this. And switching some to digital only. But there's been no mention of New Warriors yet. Yeah, it's because I really want it. You see, I want to get this to roast it. I really want to do that. There's been a suggestion that the immense rhetoric on PR will lead to the Marvel cancel comic. I hope not. However, how long does it take us to get to the actual point? 16 minutes, 17 minutes into this video, and we're just getting to the freaking God. However, one comic book retailer has seen the opportunity. Lawrence Doherty of Larry's Comics Inc. Massachusetts sees things very differently politically. Larry is generally on the conservative side of policy. Maybe he's buying all these comics as a to sell them as a curio, because this really is this comic. If he bags it up and frames it with the comic that broke the comic book industry, he could probably sell 500 of them. Yeah, he might be able to, but he should have waited a few weeks, and he would be able to get them for nothing. Larry is generally on the conservative side of politics. Who cares? This doesn't matter. Politics shouldn't matter. I just backed Ethan and Skyver's Cyberfrog 2, Wreck Planet. Who cares what the politics of the frog, the cybernetic frog is? I don't care. Oh, he's the kind of person who some character as being against the existence of such a comic. Yes, people like you, people who you would probably call him one of those National Socialists from Germany in the 1930s. But what Larry cares about most is whether he can sell a comic or not. And I hope you're going to do a backup, a follow up of this article when you see him go bankrupt. Or I want to know what his plan is. Comics night. He saw those million views on YouTube and enthusiastically supporting Marvel's comic decisions that still publish a comic. He tells me to include no bad press is bad press. Okay, so this guy sounds like either a business genius or a business moron. One of the two. Marvel Comics' upcoming title, New Warriors, has been taking a beating on social media and beyond. One posting over 100,000 downvotes. That's true. There's way too many eyes on this title for me to dismiss it. Well, again, I would like to own it just to frame it, but it's the comic that broke the industry. My opinion, fans aren't going to be able to take a peek. It's a car crash that you pass by on the highway. You try not to look, but you just okay. So let me get this straight. Your justification for this comic, you say, "Oh, see, your article, the tone of your article thus far, Mr. Johnston, has been." People are saying this comic's useless. People are saying nobody wants it. It's going to try. This man's buying 500. It must be fantastic. He just said he's buying it because it's freaking awful, and people want to see how bad it. He called it a car crash. Yeah, that's why. That's why he's taking his chances. Okay, so yeah, he might do well with that strategy. I wonder what percentage of the print run of Larry's order made up. Larry order may end up making. Whatever. Also, what kind of mark he'll be expecting to make by the end of the week? This is something I think you will sell over a number of months. I mean, who knew at Batman's Wiener would cause such a fuss, and that it was down to the Late Show with Stephen Colbert as well. Here's the original list. Oh, who gives a crap? Who gives a crap? So yeah, okay. So Rich Johnston, you spent an article lying, literally lying non-stop, saying, "Oh, it's this, that, lying." And then when I finally got to the point that you were trying to make, it turned out you were lying. The actual point of your headline was a lie. The point of your article was like, everything you do is a lie. And I'm so glad to see it all fall down. I'm also glad to see it all fall apart. Although, rest assured, faithful viewer, when New Warriors comes out, the Rabbi from Another Planet will be getting it, and I will be reviewing it for your delectation and pleasure. My name is Svila Becker, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.